Excuse me, but she needs to talk to the manager immediately. It's Dammit Karen, aka Allie!
Hello, friends. Can you hear me okay? I think you should be able to. Yeah, I see the mic going off. Perfect. We're back in the kitchen. It's actually been almost a month. It's been about a month, a little over. I was gonna say it's only been 2 weeks, but no, it's been like 2 weeks since Christmas, but we finished the baking before Christmas. Huzzah, Suspenders! Speaking of, congrats to Seamus for being the official first, Suspenders for the official second, and Dova for the official third. You guys rock. Welcome in, everybody. Back to the kitchen, where we're gonna make a new to me recipe, cinnamon sugar cookies. So Suspenders was super kind to send me golden syrup all the way from Australia. And I'm very excited. Golden syrup is something that's very common in Europe and Australia, and I believe New Zealand. I don't know about the Asian continent at all, but it's not really common in North America. So as far as I know, you can't get it in Canada easily. You definitely cannot easily get it in the States. But I watch like British baking and stuff, and I see it referenced. The place I see it referenced the most is in Millionaire Shortbread. And I'm not gonna lie, I debated on that one, but here was my dilemma on Millionaires. You need to let layers cool, and I don't know how long that takes. That, and there's chocolate tempering in it, and I've never tempered chocolate before. So I was like, you know what? That's one where I have to try it ahead of time, and then I'll work on it. Baba, thank you for the raid. Welcome on in, Raiders. My name is Saknika. You may also hear me called Sam. We are just getting started today. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch and a member of the Everbright Global Gaming stream team. And today, I'm baking. I'm making cookies. What were we up to? What were we doing? Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the fun times. Ooh, The Walking Dead. How was it?
All my heart's for you.
And that's the first time Seamus has typed in chat. That's so funny. That's so funny. So we're using golden syrup for the first time today, Raiders, courtesy of Suspenders. She was kind enough to send it to me all the way from Australia. I've never gotten to play with it. For my fellow Americans and people who've never had the opportunity to try golden syrup, when we received it, I want to say beginning of December we received it, maybe a little before Thanksgiving. We did try a little bit of it to taste it, and it's like a smoky caramel, if you have no idea. You think Clem is violent after the second episode? Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I'm not surprised though that a lot of people died, because this is kind of you, Baba. It's bomb. Yeah, this is my first time getting to play with golden syrup, and I went through hell to find a recipe where it felt like golden syrup was a flavorant of the recipe, not just an ingredient. Like, I was scouring YouTube videos, I was scouring the internet, and then it suddenly occurred to me. I was like, what if I just look at the back of the container for a recipe? And sure enough, you can't read it, but there is a link to their website, and I found cinnamon sugar cookies, which uses golden syrup, it seems like, as a flavorant. You gotta say you're civil and nice? Baba. Nobody would believe me if I said that. Nobody. First of all, you come hang out with me, which means that you're not civil and nice. Second of all, you hang out with Weeb, which means you're not civil and nice. And then third, it's you. Anzac biscuits. So I looked at the Anzac biscuit Suspenders. I did, and here's my struggle with them. I don't like the texture of desiccated coconut. If they didn't have the coconut in them, I would be fine. But desiccated coconut has this like stringy texture that I just can't handle. You don't have to do coconut. Okay. If you know, you know. That's right. Clack, clack, heart attack. I would love that, Suspenders. If you have a better recipe than that, send it my way. Because I'm relying entirely on the internet. So we're gonna be working with this. There is a part where you have to melt the golden syrup and the butter together on the stove, and I'm just gonna turn you guys instead of dragging the camera way over there. So you're gonna be looking at my back for that part, but I just feel like for that small part, it's gonna be so much easier than me having to drag the entire setup over there, only to drag it back. Minute rice, but it's 59 seconds? You're a good source. But does the minute rice have golden syrup in it, Baba? That's the real question. Cause I've got minute rice, but it doesn't have golden syrup in it. And don't worry, I will try to make sure that Weeb gets to try these cookies, Baba. It's just a matter of Weeb and I getting together and seeing one another, because we now live even further apart since she bought a house. And like, she works hours and I work hours, and it just, meeting up has been tricky. Inside under 59 seconds. I mean, in theory it could, Baba. In theory it could. That is always a possibility. Thank you, Suspenders. Much appreciated. So yes, the recipe for the cinnamon sugar cookies is really simple. It's got 7 ingredients. So we need butter, golden syrup, flour. They call it bicarb soda. It's baking soda in the States. Ground cinnamon, demerara sugar, and a beaten egg. It can be used as is, Dova. Golden syrup it's like molasses or maple syrup or honey. It's shelf stable and ready to go just as it is. On pancakes, it's great. I'm gonna try it on pancakes. I barely game with her, Baba. I barely get to chat with her. Sometimes I send her a text message and I have to wait over 24 hours for a response. It's crazy. So, demerara sugar. If you're in my Discord, the recipe is there. This is demerara sugar. We can get it in the States. If you can't find demerara sugar, turbinado sugar is very, very close. The only difference between demerara and turbinado is the size of the crystal and the density of the molasses. So in that grain as well, if you don't have demerara or turbinado, you could use brown sugar. It's just that brown sugar is used more like when you're packing it, and demerara is loose, so you get a slightly different sugar level content, but you could substitute it. Breakfast for dinner, this is true. Hi, Jeopard. You want pancakes now? It is your Sunday. Breakfast for dinner is perfect. You'll try some Dova on your pancakes. Oh yeah, you gotta have the stuff to make them. That is part of the trick, isn't it? All right, so the first thing I want you to do is to preheat the oven, which I will get to that part near the end. We preheat it to 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. If you're using fan assistant, which is convection, it's 160 Celsius or 320 Fahrenheit. Smeagol, you have a tinfoil ball to play with. You don't have to cry. I think he is just in a schmood. So it originally says heat the butter and the golden syrup on medium-high heat until almost boiling. Remove and cool. I'm going to do that part second. We're gonna start by getting our dry ingredients into my bowl. Why? Because that's the way I prefer to do it. Fuck going outside in that Dova, I do not blame. Yeah, it's freaking cold out right now in our areas, and it's no fun. So what I am surprised is that the measurements for the dry ingredients are in cups. They're not weighed. I was a little surprised. I thought Australia weighed their ingredients. You're in a t-shirt and shorts with a fan on? Yeah, because in the southern hemisphere it's summer right now, whereas in the northern hemisphere it's winter, it trips me up every time. So we need to, it says sift together, but you know exactly what I want to say. Don't care. I will sift it this time though. Don't care, but I will. So we need 3.5 cups of plain flour, which is just all-purpose flour. Wow. And I forgot to say, you guys, if you're not following Baba, you should. I feel like Baba streams on a whim, but he's good fun. Baba is always good fun. I met him through my sister. Sometimes we play Phasmo together. Cups, teaspoons, etc., which very handy. Near zero, yeah. Not accounting for wind here, I think we're getting down to like -3 Fahrenheit. So we've got our 3.5 cups of plain flour. We need a teaspoon of baking soda, bicarb of soda. Here it is. In we go. We need 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Two teaspoons. And by the way, I know these things have like the little spoon. It's just so much easier to take the whole damn lid off. You kind of don't want to know. I don't blame you, Carrie. And that's all. And we sift it into a large bowl, aka my KitchenAid bowl. And if some of it doesn't get into the sifter, I don't care. Life will go on. Oh, and if you guys saw in Discord, Miri had made a post about the KitchenAid spring on the machine. And it's funny because when I first got this machine, and at this point it's been almost a decade, the very first comment I made was it doesn't have the spring like my mom. And I was confused and I thought it might be defective. It's not. After seeing that video that Miri posted, it had the link where you can get the spring, and so Seamus got it and applied it. So now my KitchenAid has the spring and works better. -40 Fahrenheit? -10°C to 50. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it sounds like it's got a identity crisis, Japard. Yeah, with a KitchenAid, you're generally pretty safe. Absolutely. And then you make a well. So we're literally just going to use our spatula as I like to call it. And I'm gonna drag the ingredients up the side. And that'll get us prepped for the next step, which now I need to do heating. But before I can do the heating, this is the only part that is as I expected it to be, because I thought it would be all like the British system of measurement in weight. We actually do have to weigh the butter. It calls for 150 grams of butter. There are 454 grams in a box. There are 4 sticks. So each one of these sticks is like 112 grams. So I'm gonna need a whole stick plus. It's the same as negative 40C. That's true. That's true, Seamus, you're correct. So it's fucking cold. Go to grams, thank you. So I'm just gonna put my saucepan right on my, there we go. Kindly actually hold at 0. Ka-thunk. Yeah, that's 114 grams. So then I'm gonna take this like tablespoon by tablespoon, which it's not marked out very well. Remember how I was saying over the Christmas time, you always look? Look at how far off that curves on the end. Like, it's not good. Snow is falling, Esiclus. Hi. Thank you for getting your daily self-care chicken. No snow in Australia. That tracks. Australia's fairly close to the equator, isn't it? Okay, that brings us up to 136 grams out of 150. But really don't. Yeah, it is one of the only times it's the same temp. $152, so about 1 stick and 2 tablespoons, so about 10 tablespoons of butter. Oh, now it says exactly 150, so I'm just gonna put a little marker in my video to go back so that I know where I can find the unit. So there's our butter. I'm gonna put this back in the fridge just to sit until something calls for a chunk of butter. And then we need 5 tablespoons of the golden syrup. The temps are, if it snows in Denmark right now, take a picture. It's warm the next day. Oh my goodness, I believe it. We've been doing that a little bit in New York in the beginning. Did you seriously like stick yourself closed? Or is it just that my hands don't want to grip? I need a thingy. My hands are pretty dry. It could just be that they don't want to grip on. Top end is close to the equator where you live, not so much. There we go. It did definitely like stick to itself though. Oh, there's some in the grooves. That's what it's stuck into. Would have sealed itself with a sticky. You called it suspenders. Jumper in the snow when you visited Canada. So Mr. Suspenders is crazy. Yes, Esiclus. They should be delicious. So 5 tablespoons, which is a little over a 1/4 cup, or right around a 1/4 cup. Right? 15 ml in a tablespoon. Yeah, it's just over a 1/4 cup because it's 30 ml in an 1/8. And I'm just gonna scoop it. I am literally not worried. God, it's so thick and wonderful. That's what she said. It always happens with golden syrup. I'm not worrying about the exacts. We're just going for it. This is number 2. Do I should have a very tiny little spatula that will help me get this out of here. My wee itty bitty one. It's wee tiny. Hopefully that's not what she said. So that's 2. This is number 3. God, it's so beautiful. It's so freaking beautiful. Oh, it's gonna be down the side. This is 5. So sticky. That's also what she said. Good enough. I don't care about licking the side of my finger. It is so thick and I love every moment of it. Snow is not normally happening on Christmas. You're even lucky if you see... Wow. That's wild, Japard. So our bowl now is full of the delicious. And it needs to be brought to just before boiling. So I'm gonna spin you guys like so. You'll be able to see my back. I'm gonna take care of this. I won't be able to see chat. If something really important happens, Seamus will yell to me. But I just don't want to drag you across the floor for this part. I don't know if you can see Seamus in the doorway. This is also, so I did not bother to worry about if I had, pulled my butter out because I had read through the recipe ahead and saw that it needed to be melted with the golden syrup, and I was like, oh, there's literally no point in making sure the butter is warm when I'm gonna melt it in a pot. None whatsoever. Hot damn. Did somebody say hot damn, Seamus? Is that what you're yelling out? Or is it just you looking at my butt? Because you look at that often. Get all that butter down in there. Yeah. It's amazing how heat loosens up the golden syrup nicely. And looking at this now under light, this stove is absolutely gonna need a clean this week. Holy smokes. I'm extra glad I didn't bring you guys in for this. This stove needs some TLC. Right now, I'm basically just keeping it moving so that the butter melts a little faster. And then we'll let it come up to just before boiling. Oh, and Seamus got me some nice slippers with memory foam in them and hard soles, and they look like kitty cats. So now I have something to wear on my feet that aren't sneakers, like I have house slippers for when I'm baking to help with the soreness. My feet will not get as trashed anymore with the long baking sessions. It's so nice. Yeah, and then we have to let this cool a little bit, because we're gonna beat the egg, and what we don't want to do is scramble the egg. The edges have started to simmer, but the center has not, so I'm gonna let it go just a tad longer. There we go, we got bubbles in the center. That's what I wanted. It's all together. Close up of my face. Go get that supper going. See what she does? Oh my God, Suspenders. Always trust the kitty? Absolutely, always trust the kitty. Just gonna make a small spot where I can set this down for a moment. And then I'm gonna slide this over. I'm gonna pull out a trivet. And I'm gonna actually set it on the table behind me. Let that cool. Okay, so that's cooling. We need to now stir in. We didn't need to make the well yet. We need to put the demerara sugar in. Oops. It's all good. It's all good. We need 2 cups of demerara sugar. You know what? This holds 2 cups. And like I said, I don't know if I have 2 cups here, so I did buy turbinado because That's what they had. They didn't have the Demerara. Whoop. Are we over the 2? This is called YOLO Fuck It. There was not enough in here to save, but I'm not wasting it. So the cookies are gonna have a little more than 2 cups. Because I don't care. Once it's stirred together, now we need the well. Okay. Diabetes. All the diabetes. Pour in the beaten egg, then the warm golden syrup. So, I have a little dish to beat the egg in. I've got 1 egg. You want to beat your egg like the naughty brat that they are. Oop. I need a beating implement. Share a brain. I give the 2D crew the inappropriate outlet that they didn't know they desired until they met me for streaming purposes. Couple of brain cells. All right, so we've got a nice freshly beaten egg. We stopped before the safe word came out. Into the well. If your egg uses a safe word, you've gone too far. Too far. And then we want to put in the warm mixture. Which is interesting because it kind of separates as it cools, apparently. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir again, just to kind of bring it back together. Not that it'll matter, it's going to all come together in a moment. And I'm going to use, yeah, that's down to warm. I didn't want to stick my finger into potentially very hot sugar. Because hot sugar can burn you so bad you're disfigured. So, like, be careful. Give it an initial mix. Oh my God, if you guys could smell this. This smells delightful. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just delightful. The safe word is harder, mommy. More, please. God, how would I even... Like, the caramelly, smoky flavors comes out in the scent. It just smells good. Oop, nope, can't go up that high. Get back in there. I will say, right now the dough is still very loose. Loose-ish. Because what it's pressing up the edges is fairly solid. So I wonder if I turn it off, if I can pack it together. Like it's it's like wet sand. Yeah, I suppose I could pack it together. What an interesting dough. Don't mind me while I get my hands right in there for a moment, just to make sure that it feels like it's fully incorporated. Because I've never had a dough that behaves like this before. Normally they all wad up into a ball. But yeah, I think it'll hold. The real question is, will it hold while it bakes? I'm assuming it will. How bizarre. Like, here it is. You can see it's like sand. And then when you squeeze it, it is solid. Hi, Everett. All subs are different. You mean doughs? It's true, though, in both cases. So we're gonna go with it. We'll see how it works. It's so bizarre. That dough is so bizarre. So let me go preheat the oven. Let me start it 350 Celsius. Or Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, 180 Celsius. Holy crap, I really want to just like melt metal in my oven, apparently. Because that is not the first time I fucked up the Celsius Fahrenheit. Good Lord, yeah. It is like a graham cracker pie crust. You're correct, Seamus. Now that you say that, you're correct. All right. I need to move some stuff out of the way. I don't think I'm gonna make a second batch tonight, which is why I had saved these. So that means they're mine. Because when you're allowed to lick the baking implements that have yummy stuff on them, you lick the baking implements that have yummy stuff on them. God damn. Before I put this back on though, I want hot water. And a paper towel. I'm gonna wipe the edges and try to get like some of the sticky out of the way. So that maybe the next time I go after it, it's not sealed shut. Pronouns are teaspoon and tablespoon. I should try the dough. You now identify as a measuring spoon. Yeah, I can try a little piece of the dough. Just wipe this down real fast. I don't know if it's gonna make any difference, but we're gonna try. Because I have a feeling the issue area is right along the top because, like, that lid is swaddled. So probably it's gonna be sealed shut again, but I tried. I tried. Needs a pour spout or something. Or squeeze top like honey. So I didn't end up using that, so that can go right back where it belongs. That can go over there. That's really interesting, but it's really good. Or a pipe wrench. Ooh, what kind of soup, Dova? Did you got me the big one? I appreciate the big one so that I have it for a while. It does taste like cinnamon sugar toast, I'm not gonna lie. But like really good cinnamon sugar toast. Tidying up now is helpful, but it's also because I can't do anything until I get shit out of the way on my island. The unused ones. Potatoes. Ooh, that sounds delicious, Dova. She likes a big one. Boil and mash them, stick them in a stew. It's true. It's true. Is there such thing as vegetable stew? Or stews only with meat? Because I feel like vegetable stew would just be soup. Technically, question mark. What defines a stew versus a soup? I'm asking the tough questions. The thickness? That's what she said, Seamus. I also have new air bakes. They are not called air bakes because I think the name is still trademarked. They're called air cushions. This is from Nordic Wear. It matches the size of my original air bakes. It looks like the original air bakes are not being made anymore, but it probably the name is still trademarked, copyrighted or whatever. Is cereal a soup can? Oh no, Everett. Can't have a veggie stew. Cook slowly in a liquid in a closed dish or pan. Okay, so it does normally have meat. A hot dog is a sandwich. No, a hot dog is a taco. Because it has bun on 3 sides. There's an entire chart for that, Seamus. We have flour-based tortillas. All right, so then you roll the mixture into small balls and press flat on the prepared trays, allowing room to spread. So when it says prepared trays, it wants you to line 2 oven trays with nonstick baking paper or spray with nonstick spray. But as I've explained, these air bake trays tend to be like nonstick on their own. After a long flight, the demon lost the battle of sleep. Hello, kitty. Hi. Tacos are sandwiches too. All right, so the little cup to press them flat. Oh no, is it way up there? Is it on the other side? Where did I put the little guy? There he is. Blah. For pressing. According to the chart, tacos are their own thing. So I am going to use my scoop, but I'm going to scoop it first into my hand. Yeah, it doesn't hold together. So we do have to actually squish it. And then flatten it. I don't like how that works. I don't like how that works, friends. I think I have to flatten it in my hand.
Is there not enough wet?
They're wet. But it's just weird. It's very weird. I wish they had a video like showing how this works. They're like wet sand. So maybe that. Use this to measure and I'll tell you what, we're gonna do one tray and see how this works before I do like all of the trays. Because if these don't come out right, then I have to troubleshoot, like Seamus called out, if there's not enough wet in the dough. Because maybe just dumping in the extra sugar actually mattered for this one. I think I'm also just gonna guess on how much to scoop into my hand. Because it's so, it behaves in such a bizarre manner. It's literally crumbly until you squeeze it. But if I try to roll it, it goes back to crumble. So we're gonna try one tray, see how it goes, and decide from there if we need to somehow like tweak the recipe. Because if they don't come out as cookies, or if they come out as like really tough because we had to super squeeze them, then that would mean we need more something. I would be inclined to say liquid because they're not holding as well. But no wonder why they didn't have like a cookie scoop labeled or anything else if this is how they're gonna behave. How weird. It's par for the course. The dough shattered, yeah. It does feel like a crumble kitty until you squeeze it. Hear ye all ears, take notes. Nope, doesn't call for the fridge, kitty. Yeah, it's like graham cracker pie crust. So yeah, if I've squeezed it, kind of like if you squeeze sand, it'll hold together. The question is, will it bake solid? And it says they'll spread. We'll see. It says, it doesn't tell you how much room to leave. It just says leave room for spread. I feel like I could build a sand castle with it. That's the best way I can describe this to you guys. Because just like sand, you can't roll it in your hands to make a ball. You have to mold it. And it wants it flattened. So I'm flattening it with my hands and we'll see how it comes out. We're going to try one tray and make adjustments as needed. But if this is always the case for stuff that uses golden syrup, I will roll with that. I might just reference, because golden syrup has a similar consistency to like molasses, I may reference like gingerbread and see what the ratio essentially of wet to dry is. Because we've got 4 wet ingredients in here technically: sugar, butter, egg, and the golden syrup. And we only have flour as a dry. So in theory, we actually have more wet than dry, but I don't know. I'm also, because I don't know how much they're going to spread, I'm only going to do a dozen on the tray, even though I feel like I could get 16. Do you want to build a snowman? Little spread like a extra centimeter. They may cook up like a molasses cookie. It is acting like there's more dry than wet. It is. All right, so the oven is ready. They bake for 15 to 20 minutes until a deep golden brown and crisping. I don't know about you guys, but these are brown. And it might be so here's the other thing. Okay. My Demerara sugar is very dark. Their Demerara sugar might be more of like a light brown sugar and not turned out like this. We're going for 15 minutes. It is definitely already golden brown. And sometimes these recipes that you find online aren't 100% accurate, even if they're on like a company's website. That's just something I have run into in general. This is definitely a thing. I'm just gonna call it a thing, where the company puts out a recipe. It's been very, very loosely tested, and it's not 100% accurate. Going to move my extra trays off of the table where I'm gonna need space for cooling. Put the next one that I might be using up here. I'm just grateful at this point. I've got enough, and it's like literally just barely enough, but enough knowledge under my belt from a hobbyist baking perspective to troubleshoot things when they go wrong. To an extent. I mean, there's always gonna be some things that I'm just like, I have no fucking idea. I will also say, it calls for melting the sugar. And in my experience, or not the sugar, the butter. In my experience, any recipe I've ever used that melts the butter gets fucked up in the oven. I have never, to this day, had a cookie recipe with melted butter that works. Because when you melt the butter, it changes how it behaves versus mixing it in solid. It's so damn different. It's true. Canola oil was supposed to be diesel fuel. Was edible when baked. That's fucking wild. Please scroll up. Yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be a hard cookie, kitty. Yeah, according to the recipe, you heat the butter and the golden syrup in a small saucepan until almost boiling. So the butter melts. Now, it could also have changed the butter because it's mixed in with the golden syrup. They've now combined, making it more of a caramel, because part of the way you make caramel is you melt sugar and water together in a saucepan, and then you add in butter and cream, like heavy cream. They just say butter. They just say butter, kitty. So they're either going to turn into a liquid pile of mess in my oven, or they're gonna bake. There's really only one kind of butter, though. You have salted and unsalted in the States. I've never seen a recipe that calls for anything beyond salted or unsalted. Heard weird stories about cooking oils. Yeah, I use vegetable oil, but I see Suspenders said something. The butter is melted because it helps the golden syrup mix with the dry rather than the dry just stick into the golden syrup. That makes sense, Suspenders. So if it does do what I fear it could do and just turns into a sheet of cookie and become a mess, which will also fall off the edge of the air bake into the bottom of the oven, which would be very entertaining. My change for this recipe would be to cream together ahead the butter and the sugar, which is how you normally do it in a recipe, then add in the egg, then add in the dry ingredients, and once all of that is together, I would heat the golden syrup in the microwave to just bring it up into more of a liquidy consistency and pour it in at the very end and mix it for the flavor. If I have to try it again, that's how I would do it, so that the butter and the fat end up combined. Or the butter and the flour end up combined so that the flour has the fat in it, and then you add the sugar. Cookie cutter post baking? In theory, Everett. But in the past, when it has happened, because this has happened to me before, once when I was a kid baking, and once when I was helping somebody else bake, both times there was no saving it. You literally had to use like scalding hot water to just scrub the pan to get the cookie off. Like there was no saving that. It was bad. It was very bad. So yeah, I'm waiting to see how these come out before I put another tray together, because if this dough has to be scrapped, I don't want to go through the effort of making a tray just to scrap it. I would be curious though to see if making those changes did anything. But speaking of changes, I need to write down about the butter being 10 tablespoons. I would also be willing to try this not with the Demerara sugar, but with just regular granulated to maybe get that more of like the ability to see them turn golden. So we've got 8.5 minutes. I can see into the oven. I think I can show you how I can see into the oven. Like Seamus is always one of those, it's like, you don't need the oven light on, but there they are. So far, so good. They have puffed up a little bit, it looks like. No disaster in the form of super melted nonsense. I'm just loosely keeping an eye on them. And we will let them cool and sample one because like Kitty mentioned above, they could be like really hard cookies because I had to super pack them together. I'm very, very curious if I did them the way I'm thinking, how they would come out. Which I'm gonna write down. Baking soda and add to wet and X. Heat. The metric egg. I don't think there's such thing as a metric egg, Seamus. Dragon hugs for everyone. Thank you, Dova. Yeah, this is half the fun of a new to me recipe though, is will it work? You never know until you try. 6 minutes to go. They still haven't melted everywhere, so that's important. I can also take a look while we're waiting at the Anzac recipe that Suspender sent me, because that was also, aside from the Millionaire's bars, that was the most common golden syrup recipe that popped up. And I want to see. Rolled oats, plain flour, sugar, soda, butter, golden syrup, and hot water. Okay, beautiful. Zero desiccated coconut. They're saying 320 is, oh, for fan forced. Yeah, so it's 350. Combine oats, flour, and sugar. Heat butter and syrup in a saucepan. Okay, so that is typical. Remove from heat. Mix the soda and the hot water, then add to the melted butter and syrup. Okay, interesting. The mixture will froth up. Noted. Dry ingredients and stir well to combine. Roll tablespoonfuls of the mixture into balls and place on lined baking tray and flatten with your fingers. Because here's the other thing. The Demerara sugar in... Because the CSR website didn't show me what their sugar looked like, so I couldn't see. I just have to go based on what it says. It could also be that they're actually using like packing brown sugar, not Demerara, and it would stick together better. There are so many variables here. I appreciate that, Suspenders. how hens were so much smaller back in the day and produced far fewer eggs, but the metric egg is different. Maybe. But here's the thing, Dova. Old recipes didn't actually use chicken eggs. Old recipes used duck eggs. They just called them eggs, so we assume that they're talking about chicken eggs. But duck eggs were actually the preferred form of egg for a lot of really old recipes. Yep, because there's more of it. Duck eggs are naturally bigger than chicken eggs. They smell like cookies. We got 3 minutes to go. They smell like cookies. And you know, I don't know how good my oats are at this point, but I do technically have all of the ingredients to try the Anzac cookies, which if these didn't turn out, like, I can try a different version of the recipe, like I'm thinking, or I could completely swap gears and make something different. We have options, ladies and gentlemen. We have options. We are eating something made with golden syrup. Like, that is the goal. That is the goal. To stay home tomorrow due to the cold. Fingers crossed, Dova. Because you have to walk to the bus stop, don't you? That would be a really cold walk. Speaking of, how are you doing? It was your knee that you screwed up? Pausing for good vibe sending. Absolutely. Absolutely. I also looked into dual computer streaming, you guys. I started looking yesterday and I realized that I need like an entire month of just solid research. And I don't know if I want to put that level of research in just yet. I don't know if I want to put that level of research in. And wait outside for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Knee is essentially healed. Oh, I'm glad it's healed. Till it stops popping. Yeah. Yep. Minute and a half. They haven't melted. And they haven't spread very much. They're definitely puffed up, but they haven't done like a super spread. So it's one of those things that I'm like, I'm unsure. Like, if they come out okay, you trust? Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. If so far they haven't melted into a pile of goo. So this is the first recipe for cookies that I have with melted butter that hasn't just completely fucked up. So that is a plus. That's a plus. Yeah, definitely the good vibe for staying home tomorrow, because when it's that cold and you have to walk to a bus stop and stuff, ugh, no thank you. No thank you. It's bad enough when I have to walk to my car and wait for it to heat up. Delicious. Good old water. Okay. That's gonna be the timer. I'm gonna spin you guys so you can see these come out. We're just going with the 15 minutes because normally I don't need extra time. I mean, I can see where they got slightly golden on the edges. But these do not look like cookies. Give them a moment. Or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should get them right off the tray. So that they can cool and I can sample. I don't know how I like the way these look. They look terrible. Like, I will be the first to say, these do not look like an appetizing cookie. These literally remind me of the mud cakes I used to bring the adults, anybody who would pay attention to, you know, the toddler making stuff in the mud bakery, to quote unquote eat. That they just would politely do the delicious and then, you know, drop it on the ground because nobody actually eats the mud cake. The literal mud cake. They're so bizarre. They're so bizarre. Yeah, that's gonna take a moment to cool down. So the answer is yes. There they are. They baked. They're too hot to eat. Just trust me on that, Seamus. You will burn your tongue. A wild Seamus emerges.
Hunting cookies.
You're hunting cookies. Gotten into it with the school to get your son on the bus as you don't have a car and walked him. Last year he didn't join in the program until after. Yeah. And I think legally speaking, at least I know here in New York, if you want your child picked up on the bus, it doesn't matter if you live 20 feet from the school, they get to get picked up on the bus. If it's too cold or raining, I don't blame you. It's over a mile away, then he's like, what the fuck are they fighting you for? That's stupid. That's stupid. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run the ads real fast, friends. So if you're not subscribed, you're missing nothing. And when the ads are done, they should be cool enough to sample. That'll be a 3-minute timer. Voila. Voila. I see the message. See, in my opinion, I'm going to type this as well because I don't think Kitty can hear me. My opinion. Oh, you can hear me. Okay. Well, in my opinion, that's not your problem, Kitty. That's the school's logistical problem, and they need to figure it out because they can't deny you bus access for your son. Like, it is his right as a student at the school. Got a small nap in? Small nap is helpful. So yeah, in approximately 2 minutes, we're gonna sample one of those cookies. See if they're hard as a rock. They do not look appetizing. They just do not. And that they're also not what the picture looks like. Nope, that's not what I want to click on. This is what I want to click on. Oops. And that's not where I wanted to go. I went one too far on my links because this screen has everything tiny. I will show you what this is supposed to look like. Just let me save the image real fast. They teach him sign language. Oh, that's amazing, Kitty. You're gonna see weird shit pop up. In just a minute. Oh, it takes up the whole screen. Let me scale that down a little for you. So that's what they're supposed to look like. That up there, that right there, that's what they're supposed to look like. Welcome back from the ads, friends. Okay, that's what they're supposed to look like. God, they're still super hot. Okay, we can compare. They definitely don't look like that for me. The outside is definitely cooked. The inside, questionable. I'm breaking it open because they are still like very hot to the touch. They are soft. The outside is very crispy and crunchy. But I still feel like I'm eating sugar. Like I can taste the golden syrup. There's definitely that caramelly flavor to it, but the texture is like I scooped sugar. It does look like they flattened with a fork. And there's no fucking way. If I can't flatten it with a glass, there's no way I can flatten with a fork. Seamus, come here. He's in a ship battle. He can't come here to try this. Yeah, there's no way that this dough is going to come together to be for that. Not on your life. Like you can even see, the sparkle of like sugar crystals that just didn't mix. And the recipe shouldn't be so touchy that literally an extra maybe quarter a cup of sugar causes that. I don't know if it'll roll into a sheet Dova. And even if it did, I don't know if I could actually cut shapes. Correct, Kitty, they don't. So I would be very hesitant to actually continue working with this dough. Because yeah, like it just crumbles unless you squeeze it and then it's solid, but you can see, whoop, a little bit of touch and that's it. It's gone. It busts right back up. The kids would love this cookie. But I don't know. I'm very hesitant to keep going with the dough. It's like it's too much dry. But actually, that little bit of extra sugar shouldn't have fucked it that bad. It really shouldn't have. So the question is, do I try adding something to fix this dough? Because I could easily take like a tablespoon of butter, right? Quickly warm it, but not melt it, and get it in there. So we put in technically 10 tablespoons of butter, which is around 150 grams. An extra egg might be too much fluid is my only concern, Cogs. The kinetic, that's exactly what it's like, Kitty. That's exactly what it's like. Yeah, I think I want to add just a tablespoon. A tablespoon of butter. It's got to be butter or an egg. I'm worried if I add an egg, it's going to be too wet. But something's got to try to bring this more together into a dough, but it also feels like it could use more flour. Like, I honestly feel like there might not be enough flour in here at the moment. Just because of the way the sugar is behaving, if that makes sense. Had 2 squeezes of ketchup, Clay. Thank you for the resubscription. I don't think ketchup in these cookies would be good. Welcome to Troubleshooting with Saknika. I think I'm gonna add a little bit of flour and an egg. We'll go the egg route, but we're gonna add flour to compensate. We're fucking with the recipe, y'all, because what we have here, it ain't gonna work. Butter and an oil. Why don't you separate into 2 parts and try? I would, Kitty, but here's the thing. I don't know if I have enough to do 2 parts. So we're gonna start with an egg. I'm not pre-beating it. We'll beat it in the mixer. And I want to see what the dough looks like, and then we'll add flour as needed, if needed. This might work just as is. And I'm actually going to use this attachment to get the egg beaten in, and then I can switch. For science, exactly. So it's definitely a little chunkier. Yeah, that's definitely like too wet now. So a little bit of flour at this point. I'm gonna go with, I think, a 1/4 cup as my compensation. Get back in the bowl. I'm gonna need this guy. For all I know, too, there's something to do with an elevation difference between me in the States and wherever this was drafted in Australia, and that could be causing an issue. It's looking slightly more like a cookie dough, but only slightly. We're still grainy. We're still press it together. I'm gonna go quarter cup by quarter cup. I will add up to a full cup. If a full cup of extra flour does not bring this into a cookie dough, I'm gonna say, probably not gonna save it.
The man, the myth, the plow. It's Clay.
Because it shouldn't be like kinetic sand. It should not. Not if we're gonna get that image that's in the upper left corner. And I might have to add the butter as well. But yeah, this is still, we've added an extra half a cup. It's still sand. This is still definitely not going to let me easily like fork press it. You can hear the grain scraping, yeah. Yep, because when I talk, it's opening the mic. And it just, it's so wet. There's just no way this is right. I mean, the egg is a good guess too, because egg acts as a binder. So now it doesn't feel super dry or super wet, but it's still not coming together as a dough. It's still like crystals and sandy. You got a meeting in 2? No worries, Suspenders. I appreciate the lurk. Right, let me get out solid butter. Because if I can save this, I will save this. If I can't save this, we tried. I think Seamus might finally be coming out to try some. That's about a tablespoon. I'm going to beat it while it's hard. Try one of those.
I kind of wonder if it's not has something to do with the grain size of the sugar.
Maybe. That thought occurred to me as well. Just let it break the butter down itself. They're not light and fluffy and cookie-like. And they definitely are not like that image.
No, kind of look like a peanut butter cookie.
Yeah. I do have a crumble crust. I do. And nothing to... Well, I mean, I could turn it into a banana cream pie. I could save this and make it a crust for a banana cream pie. Which perhaps if this doesn't want to come together, that's exactly what I do. But I will literally be like putting it in a bowl in the freezer and dealing with that later. Because I don't feel like making a pie tonight. Yeah. It just isn't coming together. The butter's definitely like mixing. Just hand crumbling the butter through now. Time sensitive meds, alarm for 5 a.m. Oh, Jesus. This is true. This oops can be used for something else. It makes me wonder if I should attempt to try it my way with creaming, switching out what sugar I'm using and then creaming things, or if I should just scrap this recipe and try, well, I need to check on my oats first and try the Anzac biscuits. I say biscuits because that's what they're called, but biscuits is just English for cookie. Like English, not American English. All right, here's the true test. If I make a scoop of this, does it stay together? Or does it get all screwbally? If it stays together and we can smush it and we can fork it, I'll try another tray. I mean, it's a little bit more supple. I can't roll it. Nope, it's not gonna stay together. Okay. Let me check. Cause they are not gonna be that. Not even close. 4 times a day for seizures, yikes. Thank you for the lurk, Dova. Let me check on what my oats expiration date is. Because obviously stale oats won't do. Oh, these are probably stale as hell. Considering they expired in 2021. So yeah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work, bro. I didn't realize those had been sitting there that long. So, scratch that. I do not have the oats to try otherwise. A different recipe. Whoops, the year the demon was born. Okay, so that means we can stuff this in a bowl. Or do I want to just put it in a baggie? I think a baggie might be better. A big old gallon baggie. And I'll make an attempt at a pie crust with it. Because here's the thing. If it doesn't come out well as a pie crust, I don't want to waste the time then attempting to make the custard for a banana cream. So I'm gonna save it. I'll try that on my own time. See how it does. Because it would be very yummy as a pie crust as it is right now. But you can see it's just like this is not cookie dough. This is nowhere near cookie dough. So we're gonna try this my way. And if it doesn't come out at all, this will be the first time ever in the history of a baking stream that we have a dud. Like a complete dud. I don't have to wash the bowl since it's gonna be this.
Dispose of the evidence.
You'll eat some more of the cookies? Yeah, this will be, could be the first dud. I don't need to wash anything because it's gonna be all the same ingredients. We're just gonna change how we do this. Yeah, this is 100% crumble. This is not. And I was concerned the minute I finished mixing it. I was like, this is not coming together like a cookie dough. Okay. And whatever changes I make, I will edit the recipe in Discord thus. You might have to make the barbecue sauce tomorrow. Yeah. So this is gonna be frozen. Because I can always take it out of the freezer and thaw when ready. Because if possible, I don't want to waste the effort and the ingredients, right? But those are not cookies. Those are not even close to cookies. So here we go. We need approximately 10 tablespoons of butter. I'm just gonna pull out fresh butter because this one was not properly measured. Well, no, actually I can pull out one fresh butter and take a couple off here because it's 8 tablespoons in a stick. And I wanna cream together the butter, the sugar, and the egg to start. And I'm actually, let's put a marker because we're starting fresh. I want to warm this a little bit, but not a lot of it. Yeah, see these ones, again, another one where it comes off the corner. It's not well done on the placement of the packaging. So let's try. I am going to... Ooh, am I going to go through the effort of grating the butter? I might. I might just grate the butter into the bowl. I also need to pick out a different sugar. So I am going to use packing sugar. I'm going to use light brown packing sugar instead of granulated anything. Wow, this sugar solidified. Ah, you had a hole in you when I got you up there. So usually this will stay very well, like, sticky and packy, but not this time. It's been too dry in here, apparently. But it's sugar. So I'll be able to get that broken apart. Okay, so step 1. 10 tablespoons being grated. So the reason I'm grating the butter is to soften it. Which may sound very bizarre, but that is a trick. If you have butter... Oh, great, a dingleberry from Smeagol. I think I just heard a what the hell. Yes, what the hell, Dova? Grating butter allows it to get more surface area, which allows it to soften faster if, like right now, you pull it out of the fridge cold. I totally understand why Suspenders said that they melt it. I totally understand. It makes perfect sense. I just do not feel like it's working in this recipe. I really feel like this is a fairly untested recipe. Like it worked once and they didn't repeat it, if that makes sense. You made sense, that's a first. Welcome back. So we can't save that dough, Suspenders. We can't, it's not coming together. So I put it in the freezer and I'm gonna try to use it as a pie crust because there's just no way it's gonna cookieify. So we're going to try it the way I was mentioning of creaming together the butter. We're using a different sugar and the egg. And since I'm now using cold butter, I'm grating it to soften it. And then I'm going to get the dry and the not golden syrup wet mixed together first, and then I will add the golden syrup in, which I think is how you do a molasses cookie. I'm pretty sure. So we'll use the same measurements that they call for. We're changing what kind of sugar we use. It's still a brown sugar, but it's going to be a much finer granule. Because for all I know, I didn't do a heck of a lot of research, but for all I know, Demerara sugar in Australia is just typical brown sugar that we have in America, and we have a different term for our Demerara, for all I know. Since, you know, castor sugar isn't typical here, but it's very typical elsewhere kind of thing. So we're going to make sure the grains of sugar are smaller, and we're also going to make sure that the butter and the flour get to mix. Okay. And if this doesn't work, I'm just gonna call the recipe a dud. I checked my oats, Suspenders, and they expired in 2021. So they're stale as fuck. Because they had been opened. They had made stuff. Probably oatmeal raisin cookies at one point. Gotta get some of this butter off of my hand, though. Grease cutting soap, go! Ooh, that's cold. Okay. Butter's in. We need 2 cups. And now I am gonna need my big 1 cup measurement of brown sugar. For a minute and you were scared he wasn't gonna fall back asleep. Oh no! That would be bad. Yeah, so this should be packable, but it got like super dry in the apartment and it has just like dried out. So we just have to break it up. And it will break up when we hit it with you know what I might do? Take the lid off of this. This actually comes with its own little cup measurer. The thing. It's not like they're not going to be combining the butter and the sugar anyways. How long will this take? A long time. That's not an option. Because I need to break it up if I'm going to use it. Or I need to pick a different bag. It's one of the two. The turbinado is a finer grain, but I just don't trust it. You know what? My dark brown sugar has not it hasn't gone the way of this. I'm just not even gonna fight with these. Not worth my time or effort. It is still gonna be dark. It's not gonna be the light that we're looking at in the picture. It's gonna be dark like with the Demerara. Again, brown sugars, it's all about molasses content. I could also say not brown sugar and use granulated. You know what? We're gonna go granulated, and here's why. I want the golden syrup flavor to come out better. And I think granulated sugar will allow that. Versus brown. It is 2 cups, correct? 2 cups. Okay. No, there should be... No, I see. Okay. I'm not going crazy. So for creaming, I already brought it over here. We use this guy. Chloroform works. Now we need an egg. And I would say, wow, we should have bought eggs at the grocery store, except for there were like literally no eggs at the grocery store. So, because Seamus and I went this morning. All right, get the egg in there. Okay. Whack it off. I forgot to wear my new apron. I just realized that. I was in such like habit mode. I totally forgot about my new apron. Okay, we now need 3.5 cups of flour with our other dry ingredients. Half. We need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. I will have to wash the golden syrup thing because I licked it, but we need 2 teaspoons of the baking soda and 2 teaspoons of the cinnamon. Right, 2 and 2. 1 teaspoon of the baking soda. 2 of the other. Let me go grab it. Because I was good and put everything away. And now I need it again. Because I was like, I'm only going to need to make one go of this. Psych. 1. 2. Set this over here for the moment. Move these this way so I can real quick give these a wash while I'm thinking of it. There's the measuring spoon. There's the mini spatula. Give them a moment to dry. Because we definitely don't want things that we licked going right back into ingredients. They have to be cleaned first. Oy, 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 oy. We now require sifting these in. Definitely making quite the mess. Gonna have plenty to clean up after this. Give it a premix so that we don't end up with a puff of flour in my face hole. We'll get this mixed so that all the other stuff is mixed with the flour first. I'm going to treat it a little bit like a pie crust and just give it some time. And while we give it some time, as I said, I was going to heat the golden syrup up regardless. Here's this. And grab the golden syrup. Yeah, it's going to be sticky regardless. Yeah, it is coming together in there. Give that a try. Give that a try. I just want to make sure that the butter is like really good and distributed. Five tablespoons. So this is essentially a microwave safe dish. Two. We're going to turn that off because we also don't want to overwork the gluten. Three. And the reason I'm heating it up is because it's going to make it easier to put into the bowl and distribute throughout the cookie dough. If it still looks like a crumble and we can't fork flatten it, I won't save this one. This will go in the trash. That's 4. Which will be a shame, but I'm not going to fight with a cookie dough recipe. I will simply have to get oats, and we'll try the Anzac cookies another day, if that is the case. Hopefully, my changes make a difference, and we're good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna put this in the microwave for like 15 seconds. To thin it. Can take out your secret snack stash. Let's go. Wipe up the edge of this. There's no point in purposefully gluing it shut. Yeah. So see, this is already like, it sticks together if you squeeze it. So, and it's not super chunky. So we're literally just looking for the golden syrup, another 15, to add the rest of the moisture is the goal. Good old duct tape. Seamus. I'm not gonna lie, I honestly expected that we would be done by now because cookies, like one batch of cookies normally doesn't take me that long. There we go. So it's warm, but not boiling. You can see it wiggles and it jiggles, but not too thick, and we can pour it in. Set all that over there. We're now going to mix in the golden syrup and see what consistency of dough we get. And my hands are sticky. I say hands, it's really just fingers. My fingers are sticky. Because if this is still like packing sand the way it's looking right now, we're not going to get anywhere. I mean, maybe, but I doubt it. Headphones and forgetting you had you on your personal laptop. That's so funny, Suspenders. The zone out is real. I feel that. We're still looking pretty darn grainy. Yeah, it still doesn't, like, it feels a little better. It's not like crystal granular, but it's also still not, I don't know if it's coming together enough to actually call it a cookie dough. You can definitely mix the golden syrup this way. I can confirm the golden syrup is mixed in. I don't see streaks of it. So this is 100% a method you could use, but will it cookie? That's the real question. I have added flour. The flour's in there. Yep, we creamed the butter, sugar, and egg, and then we sifted in the flour, the cinnamon, and the baking soda, melted, well, loosened the golden syrup, and then added that in after we've already combined the others. Spelling errors are fine. Will it cookie? Needs to be a shirt. It could be a shirt. Okay. So it does not stay together with the cookie thing. Cannot roll it. It will not cookie. It's still crumbly. And the question is, do I need more fat to bring it together? Like, I need something to bind it. Second that shirt idea. Will it cookie shirt idea? You got it. It feels like it, doesn't it, Kitty? So it's got butter, golden syrup, flour, baking soda, cinnamon, sugar, and an egg. I am going to Google real fast. I'm going to run the ads, and I'm going to Google what maybe we need. Why is my cookie dough crumbly? Too much dry ingredients like flour, or haven't added enough liquid ingredients like milk or melted butter. Measurements are over mixing the dough. Essentially, there's not enough moisture to bind the dry ingredients. Okay. How do you fix crumbly dough? Mixing it in 1 extra teaspoon at a time, more of whatever liquid is in the original recipe, be it water, eggs, or milk. Stop before it gets wet or too sticky, and rest it before baking. I'm gonna have to send Seamus to grab eggs tomorrow after work, but... Whoop. You know it by feel. Yeah, not by look. So... before, the best way I could describe it was like sand at the beach trying to build a sandcastle. And the problem with the actual cookie, like, it's solid. I am pushing and my fingers are barely going in. At the same time, it's a lot. When I break it open, like, that is a dense cookie. And it literally, the cookie itself, the inside is sticky. You can hear it. Like, that's knocking it together. Like ginger nuts, yeah. You can use that as a weapon. And it's, it's like eating pure sugar. Like, you can feel the sugar granules. They're not bad. but it's not a cookie. It's not a biscuit. And this dough is doing the same thing. It's just that it's finer because I switched out the sugar to be granulated sugar, so it's a smaller crystal, so it can mix in better. And it's gonna have a slightly different flavor because it's lacking the molasses, but it still tastes good. So the question is, do I try adding another egg and see if I can get this to come together with another egg? Because eggs are binder. Or do I just say to hell with it and we call this a failed recipe? Because this is a recipe that nobody knows in chat. Someone tries something, just throw it, right? Let me add one more egg. We'll give it a shot. Seamus and I are not like people who just eat eggs every day, all day. So the fact that we're gonna be low on eggs, lower than I anticipated, is not a big deal. And either an extra egg brings this together or we just say, nope. Because it could just be a bad recipe, right? It could be the recipe that's the problem. It could be something that that you also wouldn't know, Suspenders, that there's an ingredient mismatch or something else. Anything's possible. It might be coming together with an extra egg. I think we have cookie dough. I think we have cookie dough, you guys. I think one more egg did it. Ugh. Can I roll it? Hey! We have cookie dough. Maybe they meant ostrich egg, maybe. Cookie for y'all are usually soft. Yes, they're usually soft. Not biscuits and gravy biscuits. I think it's supposed to be a hard cookie, more like a ginger nut, where, yeah, you got to pack it tight. Maybe. Well, we're making it not packed tight. It could be a language thing, Suspenders. It could. But also, that image that they show of how it looks up here, that's from their recipe. That's their photo. That does not look like a packed tight cookie. That looks like a forked cookie. Yeah, it's a soft cookie. So I think there's a disconnect in the recipe. Again, we're gonna do one tray and see where we end up. Because if we end up in a bad place, we don't have like 600 trays that need to be washed and dealt with. Just one. Let me get this stuff out of here. Tidy this up here. Yeah, because I don't think even with like our hard cookies that we have to pack them that tight. I think they just bake that way. Okay, these can go over here now as well. Come back my tray. Is crust, yeah, packed tight is crust. It looks crunchy though. To me, it looks soft. But regardless of like anything and everything, the fact that I can't flatten them because they break apart means that something's wrong, I would think. And hey, if this tray doesn't come out, well, then this doesn't work either. But this is much more of what I would expect from a cookie dough that I can flatten. Because it literally, the recipe says, roll the mixture into small balls, which we could not roll it. And press flat on the prepared trays, allowing room to spread. So we could not roll it and we could not press it flat on the trays. So we couldn't do what the recipe was saying. And there very well could be a huge difference between my 3.5 cups and their 3.5 cups based on elevation and humidity. That's why, generally speaking, it's far more accurate to weigh your flour than to measure it. And that could have been the problem. If we get cookies out of this, that's the important part. Let's get these arranged nicely so that when they spread, they have a little bit of room. Welcome in, it's your girl Kat. Thank you for getting your daily self-care check-in. How are you? All right. Yep, so now we can actually flatten. If you were here with me, Suspenders, if you could actually feel the dough, I'm sure you would have so many more, like, words of wisdom to offer me. I don't doubt that in the slightest. And then, because they did fork theirs, this is how I do my peanut butter cookies, by the way. I pre-flatten and then I put the fork texture in. And these might still be a hard cookie just because of the sheer amount of sugar in them. But this looks a lot more like the color that's in the picture. And this is a much better texture. Okay, 15 minutes in the oven. Let's see how it goes. I can fork you next, Suspenders. Just, you know, we gotta be next to each other. Yeah, we can bake together when you come visit, 100%. But a lot more like a cookie dough crumble, yes. Absolutely. Ooh woo. Ooh woo. I low-key want to put another tray together. I feel like it's gonna be fine. We'll put another tray together. I have high hopes. I have high hopes. And I do have my, so these are my new baking trays, but I do have my old ones out in case like this really works and I want to just crank on the trays because they are 15 minutes a piece in the oven. I will say this is not the first time I've done like recipe testing. It's not something I do often. I'm definitely not skilled enough to be like making my own recipes to bake. I don't understand the ingredients quite that well yet. But I have absolutely taken a recipe that I found online and modified it to my needs. I actually want to take one of my mom's recipes and modify it. So I've shown it here before, the hot water chocolate cake with old-fashioned pudding sauce. I would really like to try the vanilla cake, the white cake, with the lemon pudding sauce instead of the chocolate cake with the vanilla pudding sauce. I suspect that I might be able to just eliminate the cocoa from the base cake mixture and add in a tiny bit of flour, but I need to double check on what the typical flour to chocolate ratio is for swapping between the two ingredients. And then I can make a hot water vanilla cake or white cake, and that will allow me to use the lemon pudding sauce mixture, which would be delicious because who doesn't want a lemon pudding sauce on their cake? Sounds good to me. They look like they're doing good in the oven so far. I'm hopeful. I'm freaking hopeful. And I do want to try to do a baking stream at least once a month. Possibly twice a month, depending on what games we're playing. So I'm thinking for the next one, I might put a poll up in the Discord to see what you guys would be most interested in seeing. Because I have so many of them marked in my new cookbooks. that I want to try out. Like, he would learn the body parts, and I asked him to show me where your hair, eyes, and nose were, and he pointed them out, so proud of himself. And then I asked him where your teeth were. Oh no! Oh no! Let me grab the new books real fast. I know you guys can still hear me. So we can chat recipes while we wait for things to be baked. Because when I say I marked these books, like they have a lot of tabs now for things I want to try. So the first one is Dessert Person by Claire Saffitz. Now they're meeting no worries, Suspenders. I hope it's easy. So confused when he couldn't find them, I bet. And I've marked like so many recipes. But like this one sounds delicious, a poppy seed almond cake. And I would have to go through and pick out which ones I'm most interested in trying first based on like what season is it. Like come summer, when I can get my hands on fresh rhubarb, a rhubarb cake sounds fucking divine. And again, come summer, when I can have John ship them to me, a ricotta cake with kumquats also sounds divine. We may have to make this one soon, actually. This might be the next one I make. It's a cranberry pomegranate mousse pie, and cranberries and pomegranates are in season right now. They are winter fruit. So that might be soon. And do that again, but put your dentures in. Oh my goodness. That would be wild, kitty. I want to make this come summer as well. Blackberry caramel tart. He is going to have trust issues. Well, Dova, we had to add an extra egg, but we did get cookie dough. Now we're seeing if the cookies come out. They've got 7 minutes. And while we wait, I'm going through my cookbooks to look at the recipes I marked and what I might like to make next. Ooh, how about in the springtime, a Meyer lemon tart? That would be good. Because I've marked a lot of recipes in this book and in the other one. This could be an anytime malted forever brownies. You found your grandpa's recipes? I love that. Legacy recipes are so amazing. And then we've also got like minty lime bars. I know Seamus wants the lemon and the lime stuff immediately. He really likes citrus fruit. And I'm not showing you everything I marked. I'm skipping through because we'd be here all day if I showed you everything. Again, summer when I have the opportunity to get the rhubarb, but strawberry rhubarb pavlovas sounds amazing. You're trying to actually cook more. That's the way Seamus and I are right now. We're trying to actually cook more dinners and stuff to be healthier. I have a preserved lemon meringue cake, which sounds phenomenal. Maybe one day I'll be brave enough to try this bad boy, the croquembouche. I've heard it's like the pinnacle of baking. as far as difficulty and time goes. There's a buckwheat blueberry skillet pancake. Classic English muffins that are in here. Babka, which is bread. I don't know how I would do bread on here because you have to let it rise. But a butter cake, St. Louis gooey butter cake, delicious, sounds amazing. Cherry cream cheese danishes sound amazing. We got 5 minutes on the clock. Miso buttermilk biscuits also sounded phenomenal. Bocacia. Ooh, the honey tahini challah I was interested in, but again, I don't know how I would do bread on here. So we've got a lot of cool recipes in dessert person. And then the other one is Dylan B. Holland. Hollis. His baking yesteryear, and again, like, just a ton of bookmarks. I use little post-it note tabbies for the things I want to try. So there's a cream spice cake, a sand tort, starchies, which sound phenomenal. They've got 3 ingredients: sweetened condensed milk, butter, and cornstarch. Thank you for the lurk, Dova. 3.5 minutes on the clock. They look like cookies so far. Ricciarelli, which is a macaroon type cookie apparently. Maple squash gems, a poor man's pie, Dutch apple cake, which I have a German apple cake recipe from Phoenix, so the Dutch apple cake I think would be similar. A Johnny cake recipe, which is cornbread. It's cornbread for those who don't know, but different. Unemployment pudding just sounds hilarious. But also sounds delicious, so. Anandama bread. The icebox pinwheels I'm very curious about. Which means they're a chilled cookie, by the way, before you bake it. Peanut butter bread. I don't really like peanut butter, but I say that and I still like peanut butter cookies, so I figure bread will be similar for me. A wacky cake. Potato donuts, which could be fascinating. A whipped cream cake. Banana Marlowe, which looks like ice cream of some sort. Oatmeal honey bread sounds fucking amazing. And I believe it's a quick bread. Yeah, it's a quick bread, which means instead of yeast, you're using baking soda for the rise. In this case, or baking powder. Depends on your ingredients, which one you use. Leftover bread pancakes are in here. That one's probably just a Seamus and I eat that kind of recipe. I'm curious about a chocolate sauerkraut cake. Like, let's go on a journey, shall we? Peppermint patties. Make them ourselves. I don't know about you guys, but I like peppermint patty. Melting moments. Which is, again, it's cornstarch and condensed milk. But sounds interesting. Color Vision cake. It's so pink. It's so pink. We got Valentine's cream pie. Don't say it, Seamus. Haystacks. 1 minute on the clock. Scotcheroos, which is butterscotchy, I believe. Potato chip cookies, which sound fascinating. A cold oven cake, where you start the cake in the oven without preheating it, which also fascinates me. A Jell-O poke cake, which, let's just be honest, that sounds delicious. Deep fried cookie dough. Banana split bars. Here it is. This is what I was talking about. The millionaire shortbread that always calls for golden syrup. We will try that someday, but you have to temper chocolate. You need to do all sorts of things. So yeah, lots of good recipes. It is time to pull the cookies. The moment of truth is here, friends. Did they cookie? I believe they did. They look closer to cookies. They are indeed golden on the edges. Ever so slightly. They look, like you can see, they look way better than what we got the first time. So let me grab the other tray to put in. I think we're gonna be good to go on just full send. Let me start my timer. And we're gonna immediately pull these off because that's what I did last time. It seemed to work. They do seem to be a little denser. Did they retain the forking? Not so much. Am I worried about it? Not particularly. But I really want to get one of these in my mouth and sample it. They look so much better. I'll spin the camera in a second. I know you can't see what they look like on the cooling rack. I know I don't have it spun properly. If I ever figure out how to dual computer stream properly, I will, I'll get one of those cameras maybe that follows you around and tracks me across the kitchen. So I can just move and it goes with me. Yeah, these look much better. This second round of cookies. Comparatively. Put that down. Drop that there. You can see the difference. You can see them next to each other. Let me move this out of the way. So yeah, I think we may have corrected the issue. I think these are still going to be very sweet. But hopefully, because now it's not like it's such a dense cookie, it doesn't taste as sweet, if that makes sense. Hopefully it doesn't taste like you're just biting into a pure mouthful of sugar. Because there's probably an equal part sugar to flour in this between the 5 tablespoons of golden syrup and the 2 cups of sugar. Like, it is a lot of sugar. And I think I'm gonna be right around the mark with 3 to 4 dozen cookies. Estimated, I'm using, hang on, I'll tell you in a second. I think it's a number 70. Yeah, size 70 scoop for these. So So obviously, size of scoop is gonna affect the number of cookies you get. I'm gonna try to make a deeper indentation with the fork to see if we can keep the fork marks. Just have to be mindful because it is smushing them more. They're getting thinner. That will affect the cookie some. Okay. Oh, I gotta put the eggs back in the fridge. That's important. Oh, these are so much nicer texture. They look good. The bottoms are well golden. The edges are golden. They're crispy on the outside, but they're dough on the inside. They look a little closer to what we've got in the picture. And they retain the flavor. I think we did it, friends. This is solid. It's still very sweet, but this is a cookie. This will work. We need to make our notes. There we go. We done diddly dooted it. We made the recipe work. I'm proud of us, friends. I'm proud of us. Cause yeah, get the bowl off of here real fast. Maybe. There we go. This is much more of a cookie dough than what we had. You can see it stays together. It wanted to come together. They taste good, Dova. I don't even know how to describe the taste. It's definitely very sweet. They are a very sweet cookie. They've got a little bit of like a caramelly butterscotchy flavor to them from the golden syrup. Like it definitely comes through. Because the only flavor in this, aside from just butter, is the golden syrup. The sugar is just gonna make it sweet. So they taste good. If Seamus wants to come out here and get one, he totally can. I didn't think this all the way through. I can bring extra trays together. I just, you can have one. You have to tell me what you think of the difference though between that and what I had made. Way better.
Way better.
Yeah. Cause like
Texturally, flavor-wise, everything about them is better.
it's better, yeah. The first one, the second one, so much better. Like you can see the difference. I'm not even gonna keep the old ones. I'm putting them in the trash right now. They're too hard to eat. Like I can hardly squish them with my fingers. It's not worth my time. It'll make a very good pie crust, I think, but it's not a good cookie dough. So yeah, I will update the Discord. We ended up using 10 tablespoons of room temperature butter, which we grated to make it room temperature. We creamed that together with 2 cups of granulated sugar, just basic granulated sugar. Then, once creamed together, we beat in 1 egg. We ended up needing 2 eggs, so then you beat in 2 eggs. From there, sift together, and you can sift it right into the bowl if you're like me. 3.5 cups of just all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, aka bicarb soda, and 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. Sift it in, mix to combine. Into a heat-proof bowl that is microwave safe, put 5 tablespoons of golden syrup. Heat in 15-second bursts until it's an easily pourable liquid in your microwave, and then pour in and mix to combine. You'll get a dough that is like this, that you can actually roll into balls, flatten, and fork press if you want. It goes into an oven that's preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes, max of 20 if your oven is a little bit slower than mine. Bring them out, take them off the tray to cool, and you're good to go. So that's what our final recipe is. We needed to change the order of steps and add in an egg and change the sugar. I think we had a couple of issues going on. Issue number 1, I think the Demerara sugar that they have from CSR, which is where the golden syrup comes from, is different from the Demerara sugar that we have here in the States. I have a feeling that theirs is finer ground and whatnot, and here's why I think that. There's no way, if we're using the same kind of sugar, that they somehow got their cookies to be as homogeneous as they did, and we couldn't do it. Now, granted, I did have like an extra 1/4 cup of sugar in there, but as I said before, that little bit should not make that big of a difference to where we couldn't get it to come together. Because we added an egg to start and it just did not combine. And so we thought it was too wet. We add flour, we added extra butter. Like it wasn't working. The second thing, there might be more flour in my recipe than in their tested based on altitude and humidity because they didn't weigh the flour. I don't know. Third thing, I struggle with recipes that call to melt the butter when it comes to cookies. Now, it seemed to be working with these. It seems to be a very common thing with golden syrup. But I think getting the butter into the flour, in my instance, helped me out a little bit in being able to get it to come together. It's metric flour. So those are the things that I think, obviously, I'm not a professional. I might bake a whole shitload, but at the best, I am an intermediate to advanced hobbyist. I've never been to culinary school. I've never done pastry chef work. Like, I am not educated. I use Google and past experience to help me go through the motions. So I could be completely off the mark, but that's what I think is going on, says Betty Crocker. I am not Betty Crocker, Seamus. No matter what you say, I'm not that smart. I just have a lot of experience in the kitchen when it comes to baking. We got 26 seconds on the clock. 26 seconds. I was looking down to see how long we'd been going. You'll fight anyone who says otherwise? Aw, Doba. Big hearts. Okay, it's time to take this tray out. I'm gonna give you guys a better view this time so you can watch me de-tray them, which I think is the more exciting part than me pulling them from the oven. And we'll get the other ones in the oven. Do that. Now today, I will say, today was not the day I wanted to be fussing in the kitchen quite this way. I put it in my little announcement when I was running late that, like, it's just been a lazy Sunday. I definitely wanted to just lazily bang out cookies in like 2 hours and be done, but this works. I'm not upset by this. I just want to play more Factorio and make trains and be a zombie, essentially. Because I finally started to get my my sleep back in order last night. So yesterday, I forced myself, even though I did not feel good and I was exhausted, I forced myself to stay up when my alarm went off at 11 a.m. I ended up not being able to go do the massage I was supposed to do because I just, like, I was so overtired, I was nauseated, and I didn't feel good. I was so overtired that Seamus came and he was just, like, doing nice, cuddly things and stroking my hair and stuff, and I wanted to rip his face off because I was, like, overstimulated. I was so overtired. So I managed to push myself to stay up until 9 p.m. yesterday, and then I went to sleep. And I slept until 5:30 this morning. I got 8.5 glorious hours of sleep. It was wonderful. It was absolutely delightful. But I'm still recovering from the fact that I was not sleeping properly. So I'm definitely in like a mellow state of mind, I guess is the best way to put it. And when I'm in that mellow state, I just don't want to do anything. I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook. Like I actually said to Seamus, as much as I want to bake, I don't want to bake. Because I want to just fart around and do nothing. But I'm not about to bail on you guys. We're just getting back into the swing of things post Christmas cookies, so we're making it work. And I did want to make the cookies. Oh my goodness! J-Mac Raid! Corn Dog Queen, thank you for the follow. Welcome on in, readers. My name is Saknika. You may also hear me called Sam. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch, and I'm currently baking cookies, and we had to finagle the recipe. J-Mac, how was your stream? You're gonna go back to resting? No worries, crazy guy. You made it, Will, you did. How was Prop Hunter? Oh, I haven't heard anybody talking about Prop Hunter in a while. Thank you guys for getting your daily self-care check-in. Thank you for the follow, Sticky Finger. Thank you for the lurked over. You had a blast. I'm glad to hear that. That's phenomenal. You guys, if you're not following J-Mac, definitely give him a look-see. 10 out of 10 good people. For a day of pony and craft supply searching tomorrow at stores after you get a nap. Ooh, Carrie, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I don't think I've heard anybody playing Prop Hunter since like maybe September. It's been a while. No, you. Yeah, so we actually, I printed a recipe off the internet, new to me recipe, and it's out of Australia because we're working with golden syrup, which one of my viewers, Suspenders, was gracious and generous enough to ship me from Australia, because you cannot buy golden syrup in the States at your grocery store. Everything has to be shipped in, and I've never worked with it before. The recipe did not come out right the first time we tried it, so we had to troubleshoot it, and now we finally have something that's a cookie dough. Right, Sticky Finger? If you guys have never had golden syrup before, it tastes like smoky caramel. It is a flavor unto itself. Definitely, like, I know a lot of recipes are like, you can substitute it with honey or maple syrup or molasses. It's not the same flavor. Consistency, the same. Flavor, not the same. You were 12 and a Diet Coke? Smoky caramel is phenomenal. It's a lighter molasses. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. A lighter molasses. You want 12. Yeah. So far these cookies, now that we figured out the recipe, are coming out much better. Much better. We're actually getting cookies. Because before, they were not cookies. They were like, they were something I would have expected to make in kindergarten if nobody was supervising me while I was trying to bake. They were just solid things. I mean, they were edible, but I think hardtack might be more edible than what I had created. I'm not gonna lie. And of course, JMac and Raiders, if you need to raid and run because you've been at the computer for a while, I totally understand. You got to do that post-stream self-care, get that post-stream self-care. I really appreciate the raid. Thank you so much for bringing your community here. You didn't have to, but you chose to, and that means a lot. It always means a lot. And if you guys like what you see, I would love the follows. If you want to just sit and lurk, you're welcome to lurk. We don't call our lurkers out here. Even if I thank you for the follow, you don't have to say anything. I just find that to be courteous. However you're most comfortable. Dinner time and these cookies made you hungry. You did choose me. Yeah, that Allie was in here earlier and she was like, I'm gonna be lurking and thanks in advance for making me hungry. Because that's how it goes. That is how it goes. If I'm not making you hungry, am I even doing my job? This is tray number 4. So yeah, we'll be at 5 1/3 dozen cookies with this tray. Doing quick maths in my brain because I get 16 per tray, which is 12 1/3. Every third tray we have an extra dozen. So tray number 4 means 5 1/3 dozen cookies. That's a lot of cookies from one batch. Because that's how we roll here. I don't understand these recipes. I will not lie to you guys. I don't understand recipes that are like, make 12 cookies. And I'm like, where's the rest of the cookies? 12 cookies? That's a sitting. Which might be why I have too much weight on my waistline, but you know, that's one sitting of cookies. That's not enough cookies. Flatten. Just a little bit, because we're going to fork it down the rest of the way. Always fork your cookies good. This is also a baking stream full of sexual innuendos. Like, it is a spicy baking stream. A non-apologetically spicy baking stream. Which is why we have merch now that says whack it off. Because I say that every time I bake and I have to whack the ingredients off of the whisk attachment. That's how we roll here. And honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I've ever done a stream in the last 12 months where sexual innuendos of some sort have not come into play. I don't think I have. For your family too, 12 is not enough? Exactly. You need more than 12. I don't get it. If I want that little of a serving for a dessert, for like a snack after dinner, I make a mug cake. A mug cake is a perfect single serving for one person. Cookies go in the cookie jar so that you can snack on them for a week. Because inevitably, every time you walk by the cookie jar, you have to grab another cookie. It's like the law of the cookie jar. You cannot pass the cookie jar without a cookie. Thou shalt not deny themselves the cookie jar upon passage. These are good, though. These are good. We'll have another one. And they came out so much better. Like, look at this. They're so fluffy and wonderful. Definitely recommend these. Got maybe half a dozen of cookies left, maybe. Super delicious. What's your favorite cookies, guys? If you had to pick one cookie to eat for the rest of the year, what cookie would it be? Me personally, if I can only pick one for the rest of the year, I'd probably make more snickerdoodles, but these are decent. Let's just try to make this into a cohesive ball we can pull from. Yeah, if I get 6 cookies out of this, what's left, because we get it squashed. That's what we've got left. Not a lot. I would try to get it onto this sheet, but I don't know that I... Well... No, I don't know that I could. Oh, is it snowing? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, bud. It's snowing. We're supposed to get winter weather tonight, so I'm not surprised. Well, actually. Nope, I can't scooch them. I don't think. Can I get the fork under it to scooch? No. No, I cannot. They're staying. Pistachio cookie. I've never had a pistachio cookie. That would be a new one to me. Does it do you put like whole pistachios in it or on top of it, or is it just like ground up pistachio in the cookie dough? You'll have to deal with it in a bit though, you will, Carrie. Hopefully where you are, it's better than here. I can't tell how deep it is. Maybe an inch at this point, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. Yeah, the longest part of this cookie is definitely, aside from the troubleshooting, it's the waiting for it to bake for 15 minutes. But they're tasty. 20 seconds on the clock. All right, spinny spin. Meet you over here. Pull these ones out. And if you're wondering, I always close the oven between pulling one out and putting one in to preserve as much of the heat in the oven as possible. And forking them deeper, ooh woo, did indeed leave marks, ooh woo. Oh yeah. Bring this over here. And I have to let Collect know that these, because Collect is also an air bake tray user, that these Nordic Ware ones work fucking perfect. You find pistachio spread at Costco. Oh, interesting. I forgot to start the timer. So we're gonna pull those out at like a minute and a half left to go. Gonna guesstimate. Do you just use like a chocolate chip cookie dough base without the chocolate chips for your cookie dough? Are you buying a box mix? Like how do we combine that pistachio in? Got enough for one more tiny-ish cookie. and squash it. Squash it good. I'm glad we got this to work. No failed recipes here, just ones that needed tweaking at this point. Base chocolate chip, and sometimes you keep, ooh, I'd be down to try that. I don't know if I've ever just eaten, I think I've eaten pistachios before by themselves, and I think I like them. I don't remember. I'm not a big, like, just sit and eat nuts kind of person. Don't say it, Seamus. So, I can't remember if I've just sat and eaten pistachios. I know Seamus eats them. I don't know if I ever have. Maybe. Maybe. But it sounds good. It sounds fantastic. I think, though, you guys, I just have a few more trays. We're essentially done. So I think I'm gonna put you... It's so good. It sounds good. Am I gonna put you on the BRB? Yeah, I'm gonna put you on the BRB screen for a moment. And I'm going to move to be desktop Sam instead of kitchen Sam. And I will meet you over there and we will... have like a quick chat, and then we will go find the place to hang out. So if you guys would hang out for just a little bit, that would be great. Because I'm going to bring you to maybe a new friend that you really like. But with less sugar, that's always good. All right, be right back, friends.
Lily, we're by Maurice.
I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's coming closer.
Homie's gone. Like, he left me.
Did I just head on him out of his power? Yes, yes, I did.
Did this motherfucker really just bring Lifelorn only because I brought a flashlight? Or, wait, no, does Meg have a flashlight? I think Meg
Did
has a
Lena just
flashlight.
stun him again? Yes, yes, they did.
I can't be seen with you. Fuck
Okay, cool.
Did I hit that guy in the face with a brick, do you think?
I'm on my best behavior.
I'm going to.
What a bully.
Get the fuck out of here.
We got laws around here.
That's right, we got fucking laws. You hear the chanting?
All right, you should be able to hear me. You should be able to see me. We're good to go there. We love it. Oh, this has been fun, you guys. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. You shouldn't be able to hear the music. I should have it tuned well enough. So let me take a quick peek. I think I know where I want to go, actually. Well, they've been going for a while, so maybe not. So I don't want to drop you off on a place that's probably ready to raid out. Oh. I know where we can go. Just in time to say hi and bye. Hi and bye, Nivex. And you do get cookies, Seamus. You do. So, we have somebody streaming who is brand new to streaming. I don't think I've ever gotten to raid them. You know them. You love them. It's Essaclis. So we're going to say hello to Essaclis. She's amazing. She's playing Phasmo with people who don't typically play Phasmo. So, you know, easy squeezy, lemon cheesy. I will be back Wednesday. And on Wednesday, we're going to be looking at doing some more S rank ready or not stuff, which I think personally is a lot of fun, and I would love for you guys to be here and join me for that. If you want to get all the details and the times, the Discord is the place to do it. The Discord is also where you can find the recipe for these cookies. I'm going to tweak it and update it so that it's accurate. And then Friday we'll get back into RimWorld again, and I don't know what we're doing next Sunday just yet. Maybe more Ready or Not, maybe more RimWorld, maybe something completely different. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I make the schedule tomorrow. Thank you, Valuth. You as well. So if you guys would hang out, that'd be great. Here's the Discord if you're not in there yet. Socials if you want to check me out elsewhere. I know Americans, TikTok is a little bit touchy right now, but everything else works just fine. We're going to say hello to Essiclus. Thank you to everybody who was here, who lurked, who chatted, who rated, who followed. However you chose to support, I super appreciate you. You are amazing. I couldn't do it without you guys. And that's why I feel like I have the best community here, because you support in so many ways. So if you're subscribed, you can use that first raid message with the mandalas. If not, you can use the second one with the hearts. We're going to take it over to Essiclus. I'll be back on Wednesday. And in the meantime, you guys, make sure you take a moment to practice some self-care. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you love you, because you matter, friends. Have a great one. See you then.